Previously on Funny Science Fiction.
Am I a nerd for liking Star Wars? Or do I like Star Wars because I'm a nerd?
Hello, and welcome to the Funny Science Fiction Podcast.
We are the junk food for the hive mind.
Abandoned with a dying laptop in her farthest reaches of the known space, South Dakota, a young podcaster fights for her survival and patience with Microsoft Word. Who is she? Author, podcaster, motivational speaker, and marketing whiz Rhea Werner is our guest this week on Funny Science Fiction. Welcome, Sarah. What an honor it is having you on our show.
What an honor it is to be here. Thank you so much. I did not expect that amazing introduction. That's pretty much the best thing that's ever happened to me. So all downhill from here.
Well, we're done, guys. Time to go home.
All right. Well, you actually wrote it because I stole it from your Girl in Space line, and I just rewrote
You wrote your own introduction.
into it.
I love it. I
We
love
may
it.
have altered it for our own scientific purposes.
Right.
Thank you for that.
We're not above theft and
Well, at least Dad. Well, at least he's not.
Repurposing.
repurposing. I keep saying the wrong word.
So, Sarah, your Girl in Space podcast is so cool.
Thank
This
you.
story is just immediately captivating, mysterious. You do a great job of just piquing curiosity, like right from the get-go.
Thank you.
And you do a great job incorporating humor into it too. So throughout the whole thing, and while still touching really deep aspects of humanity, such as cheese. Well, one thing that people don't usually know about cheese, but I do because I'm an incredible food nerd, is that it creates a response in the brain. It's a peptide response that is like the connection between a child and its nursing mother. So it actually stimulates this connection, right? Emotional connection with stuff. Yeah. So semi-serious question. Do you feel Girl in Space is actually desiring that connection with her parents? Or do you just really love cheese?
I'm blown away right now by high quality questions of this podcast. Usually I'll come on and people will be like, how did you start writing the show? And this is like peptides. I'm here for it.
Well,
Well, we are screwed when we get to my questions.
Oh no.
We saved the worst ones for last.
Oh,
I'm
no.
just going to go ahead and head home, guys. You guys have a good day.
We can just cut the show.
Restart the show without Tim and just keep going.
No, you're wonderful.
Early.
You say wonderful, a little too early for my liking.
I have faith. It'll prove to be true. That's one of the best questions I've ever been asked in my entire life. And I had no idea that was a thing. So thank you. I'm learning already. This is such a rich and enriching experience already. Oh my gosh, that's beautiful. No, I had no idea, but it really, it really does make me sound smart. Yes.
Yes.
It was my plan all
That's
along.
what I meant.
She did
For
it.
catching on.
Thematic.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes.
That's why she's so cheese obsessed.
That's why I wrote it.
Yes, definitely. Yep.
No spoilers, but yes.
The other food that's similar like that is chocolate. That is the other food that does that.
I think I have some issues that we may
I wasn't trying to reveal anything, you know.
Does it work when you eat cheese and chocolate together?
Great. Now we're in a therapy session.
Yeah,
And
so now
then
we're gonna have
for
to
my
bill her
12th
for therapy.
birthday, when I didn't get the bike with the basket on the front.
I'm just so glad you're all here for me during this time.
Right? This is an intervention, excuse me.
So what I am curious about, though, is your take on space travel.
Ooh.
So are you the kind who is just going to like book a ticket right when SpaceX makes it available to go to the moon? Or are you a bit more hesitant towards that adventure right off the bat?
Oh my gosh, right off the bat. Like, do you remember back when they were talking about sending people to Mars one way?
Yeah.
If I didn't have people on Earth who loved me, I would be there. I would be
That's
camped out in front, like wherever you buy/sign your life away.
Ready to go.
Oh, I'm ready to go.
Awesome.
What a great adventure.
That would be so
Fun.
cool. I don't know what I would do either. Seriously, probably no. Probably no. I'm kind of an adventurer in here more so than out there personally. So, but everyone got.
Woohoo, see ya.
I'm out. Mic drop.
I can Zoom record from there, right?
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
There's internet.
Yeah, right. I would think so. Get some satellites up there. So, everyone got their start in their love for science fiction somehow. So, what was your favorite sci-fi show or novel, and what character out of that would you want to switch places with?
Oh my gosh, that's such a good question. So growing up, I was not allowed to watch TV, and so all of my experiences with this stuff came from books. And all of my experiences from books just came from me wandering around unsupervised at the public library. And I had like a little basket and I would just like fill it with anything. It was the covers. The covers got me. And so I remember very vividly picking up a copy of Bruce Kovale's My Teacher is an Alien. Do you remember that one?
I don't. Not me.
Oh, okay. It was like early 90s kind of yeah, it was humorous sci-fi actually. It was just very zany. It was very about these like, kids in second or third grade who find out their teacher is an alien. And
So
that was like
familiar.
the first piece I remember. Well, Bruce Kovale was a huge influence for me as a kid. He wrote Jeremy Thatcher Dragon Hatcher about this like little boy who goes to a magic shop and accidentally buys a dragon egg and then has to like hatch it. Anyway, I could talk about this all day. That's more fantasy. But yeah, I was just really, really drawn to anything outside of the immediately observable. I was a kid with a big imagination and very limited circumstances. Again, not allowed to watch TV, not really allowed out of the house outside of school. And so strict upbringing meant my brain just kind of took freedom wherever it could. And there was really nothing more freeing and liberating than the notion of science fiction. So books like that really first pulled me into it. And then I would, I wandered the adult sci-fi section and just started, I remember I read Stranger in a Strange Land because the cover was really beautiful. Covers were big. But really what I fell in love with, the first time I really fell in love with something, and this will be really cliche because I'm sure that this is a lot of people's experiences, but my next door neighbor lent us something, a word.
Either or is fine.
Nintendo, yes.
Nintendo.
Nintendo.
Exactly.
Yes.
I used to have one
lent
of
That's the
those.
plural. That's the plural.
She lent us her box set VHS collection of the original Star Wars movies. And this
I like
was
your neighbor.
Yeah, I do too. She was fantastic. So whenever we had a babysitter, we were allowed to watch a movie. And so I watched Star Wars for the first time in 1997. And I was, how old was I? I don't know, like 12 or 13 or 14. And I just fell hard in love. I fell so hard in love. And so asking me which character I would love to switch places with, it would have to be my original love, Luke Skywalker.
Nice.
All right, nice.
Heck yeah, man.
Okay.
I love it.
Kim's happy about that one. He's our Star Wars guy.
Yeah.
I love it. So
It's a good universe to be part of.
it
Were you
is.
kissing the pillowcase of Luke Skywalker?
No, but you know what I did? Okay, so this was the early days of the internet, and so we didn't have the internet at home. And so the public library, the place where I lived, you could use the internet computers for a certain amount of time if you signed up, and these computers had printers.
Nice.
And so I would go to Google image search was not even a thing yet, but I would search for pictures of Star Wars. And so I would just print out these pictures and I would cut them out. And I soon had this huge Star Wars collage in black and white, of course, because it was a library printer. So that was my wallpaper growing up.
Right?
Yes, I love you. Good night.
I just want to say I did have Star Wars pillowcases. So
Well,
There-
are
there
they
was-
available somewhere?
they were.
Was it of Luke?
No, actually, well, I think he was on there. I mean, it was It was a combination of pictures from like A New Hope and Empire Strikes Back. You know, some of the lightsaber fight scenes, and you know, TIE fighters come swooping through the air, and you know, all this other stuff.
It's covering Luke's eyes and kissing Leia.
That's right. You don't see me smooching your sister. So
It's just strange.
So all right, so let's talk more about podcasting. Now, I read an article the other day about how podcasting has really exploded this year because everybody's home. Now, over the last few years, this medium has exploded. And it wasn't until a few years back, probably about 3 years ago, that I started to become a fan of podcasts. And the thing that I like about podcasts is the ability that people have to share their stories, to be able to connect with their listeners, and the variety of stories and information that can be shared through this medium. I mean, it lends itself to storytellers, it lends itself to the self-helpers and everything in between. There's a podcast for everyone. You know, they used to say for Apple, there's an app for that. Well, if there's a podcast for that, somebody out there, and sometimes, and depending on the genre, there's multiple podcasts for that. So let me ask you, what led you into the podcast world? What made you go, you know what, I want to be a podcaster. This is where I'm going to the medium I'm going to use to share my information. And the second part of that is, what was your inspiration behind the concept of Girl in Space?
See, these are good questions. You're wonderful.
Yeah,
We haven't gotten to
we don't have
question 2
to
yet.
cut the show for his part now. I guess we'll let him stay.
It's all
good.
downhill after question 1, so don't worry about it.
All right, well, I'll stick with this one. It's a good one.
There you go.
Oh gosh. So I love experimenting with media and technology. You know, oh gosh, I'm like, I won't go down the roads of everything that I've tried, but I love storytelling in weird ways. Like, I love it. I love embedding files. I love anything that's unusual for that kind of experience. And so I was working for a digital marketing firm in 2014. And I was a blogger, and I was like, oh, this is really frustrating. And, you know, I don't really have a big audience. I'm not getting a lot of traction. I don't know how to stand out from the other billions of blogs out there. And I had a good friend, Peter, who was like, well, Sarah, you know, you wouldn't have that kind of trouble if you had a podcast. He was like a real podcast evangelist. Like, he was one of those people in the early 2000s that had a podcast and was the original, like, hey, come listen to my podcast. I have a podcast. Did you know that? I have a podcast. And so little did I know I would soon become that person, because my writing blog soon turned into a podcast. And originally I just started it as an experiment to see what kind of traction I could get. I launched in January of 2015, the Right Now podcast. That's WRITE because puns. And it really took off. It was a delight. I think that I was a little bit lucky in that at the time there weren't a lot of women podcasting. It's been really interesting to see the number of women podcasters has just shot up. It's
through the roof.
It's been incredible.
Which is awesome.
I went to Podcast Movement a few years ago, and I want to say there was something close to like 50% of podcasters were women. But when I started, it was just like a rare, weird thing. And so I launched that in 2015. That's kind of how I started. And then for Girl in Space, I've been a novelist my entire life without having actually ever published anything. And so I've got this drawer, and maybe you all have a similar drawer to this in my desk here that's just full of novels that I've printed out and never published or done anything with. And I was like, you know what would be really cool is to not have my work sitting in an A drawer forever. And maybe I have all this podcasting equipment. I've got a mic, I've got headphones. I know how to edit audio now. Why don't I just start a fictional podcast? Hey, I've invented this genre called fictional podcasts, except it was already a genre with a huge legacy and a huge history that I would learn about later. But I kind of just fell into it. And as I fell into it, I like grabbed hold and just really fell in love with it.
Awesome.
That's right.
I don't have a drawer, but I do have my handy dandy trusty Avengers notebook. That's right.
Beautiful.
Which is full of my ideas for my shirt company and, you know, all kinds of different things. So yeah, I carry that with me in my backpack everywhere I go. That notepad goes all the way around.
I have a dish with rocks in it.
Are they symbolic rocks or are they?
They are
simply-
symbolic.
Okay.
They actually help me keep on task. With
Oh, okay, good. Okay.
I have 2 of them.
I love it.
Now, Sarah, I thought I was a busy person. I mean, I have 2 jobs, technically 3. I help my dad out with his company as well. I have this podcast. I have another podcast I do as well. I'm married. I have 3 kids, 2 cats, a corgi, and her name is Toast, by the way. Shameless plug for an adorable puppy. Her name is Toast.
Toast.
But I look at everything you're doing and I got sleepy just reviewing the list. Because I look at it and I work pretty much from the time I get up in the morning till the time I go to bed at night. I'm doing something or rather, whether it's for this podcast, the other podcast. I do take a little me time.
Good.
I play some Xbox. That's right. But
That's not me time.
I have to know. All right, Sarah, what superfoods are you fueling yourself with? Because there's no way you're doing this on your own human strength. Seriously, some of us need to know so we can keep up.
So I have to, yes, tea.
Chocolate
I
and
have
cheese, right?
Chocolate and cheese. And I don't know, Josh, does coffee have those peptides? Is that a thing?
You know what? I don't know. I wouldn't be
just-
surprised because it's so similar to chocolate, but that's a good question.
But coffee's
Okay.
just awesome.
Yes. So I drink a lot of coffee. But oh my gosh, superfoods that I use to keep going. Yeah, basically it's the dry fumes of ambition. I don't know. I'm a very I love to make things. I love to make things. I'm not happy and I'm not satisfied if I'm not working on a project.
Yeah.
And I think that comes from, that's some of the drive, that's some of it. And I also tend to commit to things without thinking about them a whole lot in advance. And so then projects tend to stack up. So I end up, with public speaking gigs, I end up with 2 podcasts and, we won't name everything, but it is, they say that if you love what you do, you'll never work a day in your
Right.
life.
Yeah.
That's not true.
Right.
I love what I do, but it's also really hard work.
It is.
And
Mhm.
I have been really examining, especially now with COVID and being in quarantine and staying home, I've really had to examine how am I spending my time, and am I spending it in the way that I want to spend it, and are all of these projects really worth it? And so I've just been trying to think a lot about what that means and incorporating in self-care and me time. It's like I started playing video games again because I realized that, yeah,
I was just showing you my
can't work all
calluses.
day.
Your calluses.
I was just showing you my opposable thumb
It
callus.
wasn't a thumbs up. It was a hey.
Oh,
here's
I
my
love it.
calendar.
I love it. I'm a PC gamer, so I don't really have
Same.
the calluses.
Same here.
But did you
Okay.
have a favorite food? Tim was asking you what your food that keeps you going.
Oh, the food is just chocolate. So I have over here, I get those family size bags of Hershey's Kisses.
Oh,
There you
perfect.
go.
And they're just like a really nice methodical high calorie intake of sugar and whatever else is in chocolate that really fuels the process, that and lots of coffee,
Yeah.
and then
Good girl.
tea when
All
the
right.
when the coffee gets a little much.
Nice.
Yeah.
All right. So if we look back to 5 years ago, 2015,
Mm.
everyone, and I do mean everyone, every single breathing soul on the planet Earth got the following question wrong, because there's not a single person who looked forward to the year 2020 and said, I know what I'm going to be doing.
Ooh.
5 years. Yeah.
So for scientific purposes and to give us something to look back on when we get to 2025, where do you see yourself in 5 years? And don't worry, we're not going to judge you harshly. 2020 has taught us that that's not really a thing.
Right.
Oh,
We're
that's
not
such a
allowed to
good
judge
question.
people harshly anymore. 2020 has kind of sucked that out of all of us.
He's done it for us.
So what's your
appreciate
plans
that.
moving forward?
Oh, I love that you asked that. I love that you asked that. Yeah, 5 years ago, I would have said I was going to be a VP at the marketing company I was working
Right.
at, and now
Sure.
I'm self-employed and making podcasts. So 5 years from now, okay, 5 years from now, I'm going to be. Oh, this is such a hard question because I'm not a planner.
Yeah.
I just kind of like opportunities come, and I'm like, yes, I'll take that, please. And then my
How
life
old are you?
But let's just
I
say,
feel
I'll be doing some producing work. How about that? We'll say that
There you go.
I'll be producing hopefully a whole bunch of other sci-fi and fantasy shows. I would really like to continue growing out into the audio drama space.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so we'll say that's what I would love. Now, will that happen?
She's on that ship to Mars, right?
Oh yeah.
Unless you're on the bars.
Like 2020 just ruined everything for me.
There you
I'm
go.
outta here.
It did for a lot of people. So you have two different podcasts, Right Now and the Girl in Space. These are clearly two different lanes.
Mm.
Okay. Now, both of the podcasts that I'm participate in, this one and my other one is a completely different lane. It looks probably more like a self-help type situation than this. This is kind of light and airy. That's a little more serious. People overcoming serious things in life. So how do you go about preparing them equally? Because I find for myself, it's a challenge to make sure that they both get equal time. Do you struggle with that, or do you have a process in place that allows you to make sure that mommy loves you both the same? And
Can we get over that first peptide response question, please?
The moment.
Stop talking about her connection with her parents and anyways.
Just over here, like pushing cheese into my microphone.
Shredded, it's shredded.
Oh my gosh. Wow. Equal podcasts. I've never actually like thought about them like that. I think about them more in terms of like, what are my listeners expecting and how can I best treat my listeners in the way that I've set expectations to treat them. So like the Right Now podcast comes out every week on a Wednesday, and Girl in Space comes out ? And but I do put in so much more work for Girl in Space just because they're so uneven. Doing a fictional podcast versus a non-fictional podcast. An episode of the Right Now podcast runs usually about 30 minutes, and I can usually do the whole thing in about 8 hours. So I'll do an hour for planning, I'll do an hour and a half for recording, and then about 6 hours for editing. And then a little bit of time for marketing. But Girl in Space, each 30-minute episode of that takes more than 100 hours
I
for
believe
each
that.
episode,
Yeah.
just because
Wow,
writing,
yeah.
revising, finding sound effects, casting my actors, getting retakes, it's
It's a prep.
mind blowing.
That's
And
a
you
lot
know
of
what?
prep work. Okay.
It is. I didn't know it getting into it. I was like, I'm going to start a fictional podcast. And like 700 hours later, I'm like,
Right, yeah.
So,
Okay. That makes
Well,
sense.
I'm
Yeah.
going to kick in here since we're on the Girl in Space topic.
yeah.
I went out there and binged it when I found it. So, and I encourage everybody to do the same because I do a lot of driving for my my other work, and so great. I can't say enough. And of course, we're all looking forward to season 2. No pressure there. No pressure. You're doing great. You did it. But one of the things is here on Funny Science Fiction Podcast, we're always looking at the creative endeavors of other and getting enjoyment from the creativity and the process. So I thought what's your best feel-good moment in making Girl in Space? Or maybe if you'd like to share a funny experience you had while creating an episode.
Oh, that's a good question. Oh gosh, feel good. Okay, I have to say, I do have some really feel good moments. I attended a podcasting conference it was just after I released Girl in Space, and I got to this conference and I saw that somebody had made Girl in Space fan art, and like it was
Yes.
posted on this pillar, and I was
Oh,
like,
that's cool.
I have never
That's awesome.
ever felt this sense of belonging in this sense before. Like I don't know, receiving fan art
that
for
great?
your work is just, I can't handle it. Like somebody made a fan video a year or two ago, and like it's on YouTube, and I started watching it, and like the tears just started. I'm not a person
That's
who
great.
cries a lot, and it was just like I was sobbing because when other people put in their own creative spin on things, when they put in their time to reference something that came out of your brain, it was just unspeakably magic.
That's awesome.
It was just
love it.
heartbreaking in the best way. Yeah.
That's cool.
I had somebody do that for one of my books too, and it was just amazing. Wow, they, you know,
Like
they
they care.
really cared about the
Yeah.
story and the characters, and
Yeah.
they came alive for them. So that's
Yeah.
such a reward. I agree. That's wonderful. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you
Um,
for asking.
Yeah, and then I also was thinking about like I said, I've been really encouraged by your Right Now podcast. It's
Thank
really,
you.
I found it a help for me because, discouragement.
Yeah.
It's out there everywhere for creative people, and it's anybody listening who's looking to, get a pep talk, maybe a little advice about marketing, or am I thinking right? Type stuff. Hey, somebody else is thinking this way. Am I thinking?
Yeah.
But I always come away from your Right Now podcast motivated, which is
you.
what is key for creators. And so, tying this into a question, our podcast and our Facebook group is all about fun and funny. So I'd love your thoughts on what role does humor and fun play in a creative life?
I love this question. I love this question. Okay, one of the things that I always encourage creators to do is to have some kind of mission statement, to have some kind of why are you doing this, so that when you fall into the discouragement, when you fall into despair, when life just crashes down, you understand and you can articulate why you got into this in the first place. And I was examining my mission and my values actually very recently because I was in a not great place. And one of the top things that I have written down is fun. And it felt like such a childish thing, like I'm an adult, I make things for a living. Like, is it okay? Do I have permission to say that fun is one of my top values? Like it just felt a little weird to say that, but it's never been like, it's the most true thing. I remember when I was working for the marketing company, like I wasn't happy unless I was injecting some kind of fun into the work. It wasn't fulfilling if it wasn't making people smile, if it wasn't making me smile, if it wasn't bringing joy into people's lives. I think we overlook it. We take things so seriously, but joy and humor and fun are absolutely integral. I get a lot of people who ask like, Sarah, I don't know what to do with this scene. It feels soggy. Or I'm just not, I don't like this thing that I'm making. What do I do? And, I will inevitably say, what can you do that's more fun? Like, how can you spice this up? Because if you're having fun as a creator, your audience can feel that. They can sense when you are in a place of drudgery, in a place of the doldrums. Like, but if you can spice up your work and have fun while you're doing it, that energy comes across to your audience. And I could talk all day about this, but
Good.
what makes it fun? What makes
that is such excellent advice. That is the number one area, because I as a boring part of me, I do business consulting and stuff on the side and whatnot, and like that is like one of the number one things I start talking about. What's your vision?
Yep.
Right, because you have to have that end goal, and also it's the single most important thing that can empower and motivate and unify people. Number one. Yeah. So you have to start with that vision, and just, especially like you said, when a wrench get thrown in your plan, you can have vision, take up that role of that motivation and energy. Love
Absolutely.
it. Thank you.
Great.
You know who I found who didn't have humor in their lives? Architects. When you sit across the table from an architect in a very serious,
all our architect listeners,
not all architects, but when you have a personality like mine and as sarcastic as I am, to sit across the table from an architect in a very stuffy and stodgy meeting about doors and door hardware, and to make a flip offhand remark, he was not a fan.
Oh no.
I may have had somebody call my boss once, but
well, as you see, we try not to take ourselves too seriously here at our podcast. We have a lot of fun. We do a lot of depreciating humor. But
we enjoy it so much we can't even say it.
Yeah, I can't even talk today.
That's valid.
We also like to have a few silly questions in here just for fun. So now,
I like it.
Picture it. Future A despotic corporate tyrant takes control of the internet. They force you at gunpoint to make Girl in Space for TV. And they only give you 3 choices of formats.
Okay.
You have to choose from one of these 3 choices. What's it going to be? Is it going to be puppets, anime, or claymation?
Oh my gosh.
What a violent way to go about this, Dad.
Right? I know, isn't it?
Would you like to have your show on TV?
Like, yeah, thank you. Yes, that sounds amazing.
Thank you. The gun was unnecessary.
Like, no, this is fantastic. I'm in.
I would have done it without the
And
firearm.
why do you choose the one?
Oh, I love the idea of claymation.
Wouldn't that be good?
Oh, that would be so. I mean, like
I love
it would work with puppets,
Classic.
and I love it when they talk a lot and they're googly spin around. I think that is a special humor all of its own. And I love anime, but oh boy, claymation would be so like it would just be like really punk feeling and like
Right.
really
Yeah.
raw, right? Like and really.
the work.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
I
As
love
long
Yeah.
as I wasn't doing all the shaping, like as long as I get and like
Right? Yeah, you had somebody do. They were
Okay.
paying for it. So
perfect. Yes, the gun-toting person forcing me to make.
Toting TV tyrants.
That's hilarious. I watched your TED Talk.
Oh, thank you.
Really enjoyed it. I love a few minutes in. You're like, I'm on TED Talk.
I love that. That was great.
I really liked your full cup analogy.
Mm.
So, and that if your cup's not full, you have nothing to give. But if your cup is full, then you can pour out onto others and you can give that to them as well. I've also heard a cup analogy that, we're all different size cups.
Mm.
Somebody could be a 20-ounce cup or an 8-ounce cup, but we need to do what we can do no matter how we can be and not strive to be somebody else. If I'm 8 ounces, not strive to try to fill my cup to 20 ounces.
Ooh.
The overfilling is kind of nice, but it gets overwhelming and overfilling and it doesn't really help anybody. So I've watched your podcast. I love those. My question is you give a lot. We see you give, you're very positive. We love your upbeat. I'm sitting next to Drayton crocheting with my friends and I'm finding myself next to him. We're watching
you.
On your live shows. Yeah.
Oh, I
Yeah.
love it.
The
Thank
live
you.
creative sessions.
all the giving that you do for your big 20-ounce big gulp cup that you are. What is your go-to as far as entertainment? What fills Sarah back up to get her back up after all that pouring out? What fills you back up?
It's books. It's books. And I don't know if that's because that's what I grew up with and that was just always my natural escape, or if it's just because books are amazing. But I have a problem. This is
Not a bad problem.
I love that.
our living room is just walls of books. My bedroom, I have special shelves above the bed that have books on them. I have piles on the floor that thankfully you can't see.
Do you read them or you just like the covers?
I like to snuggle them. No.
I have a new introduction for Sarah.
What's that?
Hi, I'm Sarah, and I'm a BA,
I
book addict.
am though, and like when I got a
Such a BA.
smartphone, oh, you can download books like in a second.
Oh,
You can have all
yeah.
of the books. It's a problem, but it's it's a good problem.
My wife giggles when she gets the notification for her Kindle. She's like, "Oh, this is available."
That's right. That's funny. So we here at Funny Science Fiction, we have found a link between Muppets and sci-fi. For
Yes.
instance, we know Muppets did Pigs in Space,
Pigs
Muppets-
in space.
from space, and we all know Yoda is a Muppet.
Right?
So in any of your writings, do you have any odd-looking creatures, non-human or Muppet-type characters? If so, what are they, and what's their purpose for your storyline?
Oh my gosh. I am in love with this right now, and I've never thought about this before. But this is my husband and I always think about like, oh, what if they did like a Muppets Treasure Island,
Right?
this
Yeah.
story or this story, and it's just always Tim Curry and a whole bunch of Muppets.
Yeah.
I'd watch.
I love that one.
I'd watch.
So now I'm thinking about Girl in Space with like, Miss
Muppet.
Piggy or Kermit as X. And then like who would Tim Curry? I guess Tim Curry would be like the evil counselor.
Yeah. Yeah. He'd be great for that.
Nailed that.
Now I want to cast my entire show with
Right?
him.
That wasn't a choice. That was
Girl in Space 2,
great.
starring Tim Curry. and
Tim Curry.
That's funny. Oh, that's fun. So as a wife of a writer, Drayton's wife, I know the time frame that he spent in when he thought of the book and the process down onto paper to the completion of the book. He started when our boys were little, and when they became adults, he actually put it down in writing, was able to self-publish, and did a really good job of that. And I know the time frame that took. What was the time frame it took you for your stories, like in between the thought, like when did I think of Girl in Space or one of your other stories, and when did I get it down and into the podcast, the time frame?
Oh, I think about things for a long time. I am a really slow creator. And I get hung up about that sometimes because I feel, well, there's all sorts of pressures to create and all of that good stuff, but I'm so slow. I thought of Girl in Space. It had been like playing around in my mind ever since I had started the Right Now podcast. So probably about 2 years, I was just kind of like, that might be cool. That might be cool. Am I going to do it? I don't know, but it could be cool.
Great.
And then I like fill up little notebooks with ideas and phrases and imagery. And then I like let that sit and stew for a while until I can't stand it anymore. And I have to jump into some kind of document, whether it's digital or whether I'm writing it by hand. And I just hold off until the moment that I can't anymore. And then I just start writing furiously. Yeah. So it's
For a couple years.
couple years. Yeah. I
Yeah.
have a new show that I'm working on that's it's a horror show. So it's not maybe a good fit for this audience, but it's I've started a notebook on it about a year ago, and it's just still just a few ideas in this notebook. It's just
Yeah,
sitting
there
right
you
next to
go.
me, no rush.
Yeah.
Ideas become pictures.
Exactly.
Great.
Cool.
Wonderful.
Awesome.
Well, it is time for our game.
Oh my,
Favorite part.
I'm nervous.
So you have a choice.
Okay.
This is the first time we've ever done this, by the way. We've never let anybody else choose.
No, you have two choices.
Oh,
We're
boy.
breaking ground.
Okay. What if I choose wrong?
You won't.
Well,
Okay.
this isn't a wrong choice thing. This is just which do you prefer here.
Okay.
Do you want the trivia to be on sci-fi literature or sci-fi movies?
Oh, this is hard. Oh, geez. Oh boy. Movies or books? Oh, shoot. Let's go with let's go with oh, am I gonna regret this? Let's go with movies.
No.
Both will
Movies?
go way over time.
Okay.
All right.
Okay, I'm scared. Maybe I should have chosen books. I read a lot. Oh boy. But let's go with movies. Okay.
So usually what we do is if you get 3 right, you get the mug.
I want it.
Okay. But
Anyway,
I was thinking since you like books so much and stuff, I think that if you get 3 right, you get Dad's book.
Oh, that would be wonderful.
Okay.
I would
So
love
Custodians
that.
of the Cosmos. And then if you get 5 right, you get the mug as well.
Oh my gosh,
Okay.
this is too much. Okay.
Okay.
And then if I don't get any right,
If
I
you
hear
get
that I can-
less,
okay.
go ahead.
I was going to say, I hear that I can buy the mug and support a worthy cause.
Yes.
Yep.
yes, you can.
Okay.
Very true.
Shirts,
Okay.
mugs, bags.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
They have more than mugs there too. So.
Yep.
There's even really nicely done T-shirts.
Oh, I like that. Oh, I like that. Okay. Okay.
Just
I'm in
saying.
it.
all right, but if you
Well,
get
enough
less,
stopping. Let's get to the quiz.
here's the other side.
Okay.
If you get less than 3 right, though, okay, if you don't get anything, you get your face posted on a meme that gets posted on our Facebook group.
Okay. That actually sounds really delightful.
Everybody says that. We need to come up with a better punishment. What is up with this?
Everybody
we
has like a
keep-
win-win.
This sounds great.
We keep putting that out there as punishment. And everybody's like, "Can we just do that?
That's great. Can I get that?
Can we just?
I don't
Can we
care.
just? Can we just skip to the meme? I like the meme. Meme sounds good.
Just picture
All
a
right.
really cool mug in a book.
We'll have someone come and rip your toenails off. And no.
Okay. Yeah. Now I'm scared again.
I was
Finally found a punishment. All right.
Okay.
We'll
I'm in
read. You'll be forced to
That's
listen
one
to
book
Bogan
from your
poetry.
bookshelf.
That just went dark. Okay.
What'd you say? I didn't hear you, Al.
I say you'll be forced to listen to Bogan poetry.
Oh,
Well, gun poetry. There you go.
I said we'd subtract a book from our bookshelf.
All right.
All right. So here we go. Here's our questions.
Go
Okay.
for it.
Question 1. It's about Pixar movies. What actor has voice characters in every Pixar film? Is it John Ratzenberger? Is it Kelsey Grammer? Is it Joe Ranft? Or is it Tom Hanks?
So I don't know who two of those people are. So I'm going to assume it's one of them. Let's go with John Ratzenberger. Is that one of them?
That is his name, and that is correct.
Norm. It's the guy from Cheers.
Yeah, it's
Oh,
Norm from Cheers.
See, I didn't grow up watching TV, so I don't know
Right?
any of the.
That's
Why
fine.
did I choose movies? What's wrong with me?
Right?
I thought it was a sense of adventurousness in you.
There you go.
Hey,
There you go.
we
This
got
is
one.
my version of going to Mars. Yeah.
There
Got
you go.
movies. We have one from Star Wars.
Okay. Oh boy, this is gonna be really shameful if I don't.
How many million languages is C3PO fluent in? 1 million,
Hmm.
4 million, 5 million, or 6 million?
I am fluent in over 6 million forms of
There
communication.
Nice.
I have to tell you, if you didn't get this right, we weren't finishing the quiz and we weren't airing the podcast. So
Yeah, we were
Just
kicked
shut it
off.
down.
You didn't get
shut
right.
it down. We're going home.
She didn't have the voice thing going out of there.
I love it.
She's really
I'm
nice and all,
muscle
but we're not airing this.
Did you say anything else in C3PO?
There you go.
I don't want to bore you.
I know.
Question number 3. Are we ready?
Okay.
All right. Which of these popular sci-fi movie franchises has the most films? Doctor Who,
Hmm.
Star Wars,
Hmm.
Guardians of the Galaxy, or Star Trek?
Ooh. I'm trying to remember how many Star Trek movies there are. Because there's 10 Star Wars movies that I know of. What was the first one?
Doctor Who,
Does Doctor
Star
Who have
Wars,
movies?
Guardians of the Galaxy, Star Trek.
Oh boy. I'm gonna go Star Trek.
That's correct.
All
There's
right.
13 Star Trek movies.
All right. So no, I get to keep my toenails, is what I'm
Yeah.
hearing.
Wow. Yes. Danger
No
book.
Vogon poetry for you.
Whew, whew, whew.
All right. So at this point, you get Dad's book.
Yes.
Awesome.
I'm excited about this.
Yeah.
We're having
Might
fun.
even put some graffiti in it.
You
Yeah.
have to
I was
don't
gonna say,
get your
can you
face
sign
on
it?
Of course, yeah.
Okay, I would like that.
All right. Which of these popular sci-fi movies is not based on a book?
Mm.
Number 1, Galaxy Quest. Number 2, Blade Runner. Number 3, Ender's Game. Number 4, Jurassic Park.
All right, I own 3 of those books.
Oh, so that makes it easy, doesn't it?
can you run them past me again just to be safe?
Galaxy Quest,
Okay,
Blade Runner,
okay,
Ender's Game,
okay.
Jurassic Park.
Yeah, Galaxy Quest.
Yeah.
You've never read Galaxy Quest? Okay, yeah, you got it right.
You never read that book?
Show a good show.
Grab the
All right.
hammer.
All right.
Oh, there it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
All right.
Well-
So question 5, this is for the mug.
You however have lost the opportunity to get your face on a meme.
Right?
We'll still do
Did
that. Don't worry about it. That's still going to
Get
be a
this one
thing.
wrong. Can it be a negative? Can it be
I know,
like
right?
negative points?
Yeah.
Do
If you
this
get this
anyway.
wrong, we take away everything.
Okay, cool. And not my toenails, right? I get
You
to
can
keep
keep, you
those.
can keep those, but you're definitely getting a meme.
Okay.
All right. So, what was the first science fiction film to win the Academy Award for Best Picture?
Hmm.
Was it Star Wars in 1977? Was it Solaris in 2003? Was it Metropolis in 1927? Or was it The Shape of Water in 2017?
Oh boy. Oh boy. Ooh. And you put them in such an interesting non-chronological order. I don't know. My brain doesn't know what to do with that. It's like
Uh-oh. Triggered.
I'm just over here like twitching. I really want to go with Metropolis, but that's not my final answer. I'm gonna go with Solaris.
Aww.
Oh, was it Metropolis?
No, actually, it was
Oh.
The Shape of Water. I would have gotten this
Really?
one wrong because I would have went with number 1, Star Wars, because that's my default for everything. But
Well, I knew it wasn't. I knew it wasn't Star Wars. Really, The Shape of Water in 2017?
Right?
apparently, yeah,
What the heck?
because
Who-
apparently no one had ever heard of Star Wars.
What
Yeah.
the heck? What the double heck? Wow.
Right? I mean, but was anybody paying attention to the Academy Awards in 2017. I know
No.
I actually, there's so many words.
Are they still a thing?
I guess.
What do you say, guys? Should we give her one more question?
Sure,
We'll give her we'll throw in the auxiliary. If you get this one, we'll give you the mug.
We're gonna pick up
okay.
a bonus question here.
Okay, still got a chance. Got a chance.
All right.
So you're saying there's a chance.
Which time travel movie predicted that the Chicago Cubs would win the World Series? Is it 1, Source Code? Is it 2, Back to the Future Part 2? Is it 3, Hot Tub Time Machine? Or 4, The Time Traveler's Wife?
Number 2, Back to the Future.
Woo!
Yeah.
So I
Part
guess
2.
we'll send you a cup.
Get the cup.
Yay! Oh, I can drink so much more coffee now. This is great.
Right? Exactly.
Well, you'll be sad to know the cup is decaffeinated.
Oh.
A decaf only cup. No.
Oh, I'm just over here crying.
And sadly, the only one we have left is the one that Drayton was drinking out of. So we're gonna send
We'll wash it before we send it.
it.
So Sarah, thank you so much for being on our show today.
Thank you.
Number 1, where can people go to find out more about Girl in Space and any other content from you?
Oh my gosh. Well, people can go out to my website, sarahwerner.com. That's SARAHWERNER.com, where they can find my 2 podcasts. They can find, I have a whole bunch of freebies for writers and podcasters.
Oh, cool.
So go crazy.
Awesome. We'll be
Great
sure to
site.
place those in the description as well. And if you guys would like more guests like Sarah on our show or have an idea for a guest or anything like that, please hit us up on our Facebook group, Funny Science Fiction. And please subscribe to the single most important thing you can do to say thank you, which is to the Funny Science Fiction podcast, as well as to Sarah and her content. And that helps us to get more and better content out to you. Of course, finally, by Grab Thar's Hammer by the Sons of Warvan. Thank you for listening.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Sarah.
guys.
Thank you.
Sarah,
Thank
you were
for having me.
You were awesome. Thank you so much.
You're all awesome.
Great.
Our show is brought to you by the good folks at the Red Shirt Widows and Orphans Fund. Someday, brave guys and girls in space will put on the red shirt, board a clunky-looking shuttle, and land on a hostile, unforgiving planet, only to fall prey to sentient alien goat cheese when they mistake an alien cheese ambassador for a tasty snack plate. You might well ask yourself, what happens to those left behind? Well, that's where the Red Shirt Widows and Orphans Fund comes in. For as little as 5 Republic credits a day, you can bring real relief to those in need.
And friends, that's where the fictional charity ends and the real charity begins. We have an opportunity to help an actual charity with your purchase of Red Shirt Widows or Orphans merchandise. Every purchase allows us to donate 100% of all profits sold to Wish Upon a Teen. This very real and very worthy charity helps sick kids in their time of need when their stays in hospitals becomes extended because of their illnesses. Let's take an opportunity to buy some merchandise, donate to Wish Upon a Teen, and help our neighbors in their time of need.
Thank you for listening or watching. Don't forget to subscribe and like us on your favorite podcast platform and YouTube. If you've enjoyed our podcast, why not come join our Funny Science Fiction Facebook group too? It's filled with giggle-worthy memes and gags. Visit our website, www.funnysci-fi.com. That's funnysci-fi.com. You can also support us on Patreon, where you can get transcripts, bonus episodes, and other fun merch. That's at patreon.com/funnysci-fi. Look for links in the podcast description.
On behalf of the rest of the hosts of Funny Science Fiction, we'd like to thank you for listening to this episode. If you'd like to be a guest on one of our future episodes, please contact us by means of our Facebook group, Funny Science Fiction. You can find us on Twitter or Instagram using the handle @funnysci-fi, or you can go to draytonallen.com and click the Contact Me link at the bottom of the page. Thanks again. Hope you enjoyed the episode.